What's up, guys? Today's another episode on the BRZ. Today we're gonna finish up the oil cooler setup. So last episode we started making the front splitter for it, and like I said at the end of that video, that today we're gonna make the oil cooler bracket. We're gonna relocate it because it was kind of far away from the area that I wanted it to be in originally. It was kind of just like a rush move just to get it over in the spot that it was. So today we're gonna relocate it. We're gonna cut the bumper however we need to in order to get it to fit. I got the new fittings from Mishimoto, so those are in, so now we can finally do it. The splitter, I don't want to say is on the back burner, but I'm waiting on parts. I'm waiting for the splitter rods to come in. I had to order those custom. I think the company was Fully Torqued Racing. The next splitter episode, I'll put the link in the description for that. But yeah, we're gonna do the oil cooler, so let's just get started. So the reason last video why I wasn't able to start anything with the oil cooler setup was actually the fittings that are on there now. So right now I have these 90-degree fittings on, and for the Impreza they worked fine. For this I need them to point out straight, so I ordered two of Mishimoto's straight fittings. So I just gotta take these out, thread these in, and then we can start mocking up where, you know, what angle I gotta sit this at, because this is still loose. Gotta do that. We gotta measure, we gotta find the location of where I want to put the oil cooler, which last video I said I wanted to stick it in this area of the bumper. I still want to hold the daytime running light right here. So what I'll probably end up doing is cutting this out right here, this Foglight area, following it all the way up and around, same on this side, and probably end it somewhere over here, somewhere in this area. What I'm going to do probably right now is just take a quick measurement of how far away the washer fluid reservoir is, just so I know, you know, this, you know, let's just say this is, you know, it looks like 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 inches from here to here, just so I don't go past this mark and then have the bumper, you know, contact with it. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna take a, what I'll probably do is I'm gonna get a notepad over there, make a note of how far this way I can go, which probably looks like 4 inches, or maybe 3 inches, and then how far out I can go, so I can get this oil cooler to angle perfectly right in here and have it not touch anything. So I'm gonna take some quick measurements now, then I'll take the bumper off, and we'll get to making some brackets. Alright, so I think I have it in the basic spot. I've got my tape measure now, and I'm just gonna go and measure all of the areas where it's at right now, just to see if it's within those measurements that I just did. So if it's in those measurements, I'm gonna leave it exactly right there, and I'm gonna start building some brackets off of some stuff to get it to stay there. Alright, so it looks like we should be good in this spot. It's a little, I don't know, it's a little farther, it's a little more farther out than I'd want. It's like all these measurements that I took were all like, you know, kind of conservative. It sticks out a little bit more in just about all the areas, just because the thickness and stuff of it too. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna build probably just 2 simple brackets for now. I'll probably build one right off this lower one and go down to this bolt hole right here. Can't really see too well, but that one right there. So I'll just have simple brackets, just got to bend up a little bit. And then for this side, can't really do much on this because there's nothing down here that that would hold it. But if I go off one of these holes up here, I can go to one of the holes up here. That one was going to be for the splitter, so if I have to, I could use that one and just, you know, sandwich the splitter in between it. So that's what I might have to do. If there's somewhere else, then I'll choose the other spot instead, but that might have to be the spot for it. And then this one, I was thinking about maybe do it up here to the headlight, if I can get a straight shot, but it kind of looks like the bumper bar is going to get in the way. I have this threaded right here, so I could probably do that. So I'm going to have to explore some options and see which one works best. So I'm just going to go and start building some brackets. Alright, so I had a scrap piece of aluminum. I just made this quick little bracket. I bent it up twice. I just have to cut this end off right here. But so I marked, it's not focusing. I marked 2 holes right here just for both these bolts. There we go. So now I'm just going to drill those out. I'm going to chop this piece off, and then this bracket's basically done. And then I just got to move on to some other ones. Alright, so I got these two brackets made. I went right up to where, right here where I'm going to do the splitter support. So just right now I just have a random bolt through there. But then I needed to use a spacer right here. Luckily I actually had one, so that worked. Then down here, I'm using both the mounting holes for the oil cooler, and then it just goes right down to this spot down here. So now it still moves around just a little bit. Let's see, yeah. It still moves just a little bit, so I want to find somewhere to bolt onto right here, just so it doesn't contact the intercooler piping or maybe contact the bumper or anything like that. So I just got to find one more spot for right here, and I'll update you then. Alright, so I changed up the plan a little bit. I wasn't able to find any area right here with a straight shot to mount it from right here, so I actually went down to this side, the one that I thought that I wouldn't be able to get anything to, and I was able to bend this bracket and go all the way down to the frame over here. So it goes basically underneath the washer bottle and then back up, and now it's perfectly sturdy. That one down there is basically just for like side support, just so it doesn't shake. These two are basically the main supports. So now it's basically mounted, so now we can start making the lines. Alright, so I just took the sandwich plate off and I just changed out these fittings. So now I've got the Mishimoto just straight out fittings on there. So now I'll be able to just mock up the line that I have over there still and see how long I need to make them. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take the fittings off of all the lines and just fit all the fittings onto the spots where they go, and then I'll just do a measurement of the length, and then we'll start cutting. Alright, so I got all the fittings off the AN line that I have. This is just some of it from the BRZ right now. So I got these two 90s coming off the oil cooler. So this one's just going to run right with the headlight, come over. I'm actually going to use this line that I'm mocking up right now. I already drew the line on there where I got to cut. So it's going to go on the other side of this one, just for mocking up right now. It's going to go right here. And then this one is going to go straight up through the little headlight area through there. It's going to come out over here. It's going to go right there. I have the other straight fitting right here that'll attach to it. Ideally, I'd probably want like a 120 degree for one of these, like maybe like this one, or even maybe even almost a 45, but I'm just gonna have to make do with what I have because it's what I have right now. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go bring this over to the vise. I'm gonna chop this line right here, and I'm gonna bring this fitting with me. I have to fish this back out of here, get it off of here, and I'll make this line, and then we'll do a test fit. Alright, so now what I've always done when you go to cut your AN line, you wrap some tape really close, something really tight, just so then when you go to do your cut, like for this instance, I'm going to do it right in the center. So when you go to cut, the tape keeps it from, like, the stainless kind of from like flaring out, just so then you can get the fitting on. So now I'm just going to draw a line in the center. I've got my cutoff wheel right here. I just got to grab the fitting over on the BRZ, and then I'll be ready to cut it. Alright, so I was just able to get this fitting on. So now let's try and fish this thing back through that opening, and we'll test fit it on the car. Alright, so I got this line on. It's just, you know, hand tight on both sides just for now, just so I can get the fitment right. But it's going underneath the front bash bar. Right now this is right in the way of the fitting, but I'm going to tie this out of the way, and it's going to sit there just like that. So it's going to have room. So now this one will go up and through one of these holes underneath the headlight, like I was just saying, and then it's going to come out over here right onto this. So now I'm going to see if that hose that I had left over is long enough or not. If not, then I'll have to use the other extra hose that I have. Alright, so luckily the spare piece that I just, you know, had excess from the other piece I cut is actually a little bit longer than what I need. So now I could get it to go up through this little opening. I'll just have to, you know, flex it a little bit in order to get to there. But then I have more than enough right here So now I'm just gonna measure, you know, whatever length I just need to cut, and then just throw the other straight fitting on, and then we'll tighten it all down. Alright, so I built the other line. So this one right here, it goes straight down. Goes down underneath the headlight through the intercooler piping, then boom, right there. So now I've got this one. It's kind of being, you know, pushed on by this right now. I'm probably gonna put like maybe like a rubber hose or something around the stainless just so it doesn't like chafe on it. But then it comes up and through right over there. Straight up through there, right to there. Right now I still have the old oil filter on, so it's not tight. I've got a new filter right there. I still need to get some oil for it. But it's basically all set. I just gotta clean this up a little bit because it's still a little oily. And then we gotta cut the bumper. So that's the next step. We just gotta trim that bumper, see if it fits. Alright, so I've got my cutoff wheel. Now what I'm just gonna do is basically I'm just gonna follow this line right here all the way down, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how to get to the bottom. I might have to just tip the bumper on its side to cut the bottom of it, but basically just gonna follow the line. I forgot I'm actually just gonna keep this area, so I'm gonna cut it probably about right here and over, and then the rest of the way down. Alright, so I just cut this entire area out. It's actually right over here. So this piece is where like the Foglight would either go, or the little Foglight delete plate. But so this basically went like that. I cut it out. I cut this flush a little bit more because I know I'm probably going to have some fitment issues at the bottom. So now before I trim anything on this, like make it flush and clean, I'm going to test fit it on the car, just see if there's any more cutting I have to do. Alright, so I already found a problem. I'm going to have to cut out the daytime running light area just because it's contacting the oil cooler. I was hoping I'd be able to probably save that, but just the oil cooler is still massive that it won't allow it. So I'm going to have to chop the rest of it out. But basically that's what you're going to see through the little fog light hole. So now I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do on this side then. I might just put it in just for show and just not hook it up because I don't want to have one on and one not. So let's take the bumper back off and we'll cut the rest of it. Alright, so now with the daytime running light little bracket out, it literally fits like perfect in this spot. I think it looks pretty cool. Now I just gotta get the bumper off and just trim the extra stuff that's still back there just for me cutting it. But that's basically what it'll look like. So now from far away, all you'll see is just a nice Mishimoto M with the oil cooler and then just intercooler radiator in the center. That looks sweet. Alright, so I was just going over all the lines, just making sure whatever was contacting, I just either move out of the way, or what I did in this case, and over here next to the radiator, I had some small silicone hose left over from previous builds, so I cut it to the diameter that I needed, and I wrapped it around the oil cooler hose. I just threw some zip ties on it just to hold it. Same with over here. And now, you know, if there's any contact, it's just from the silicone hose to the fitting or to the radiator over here. And those are the only spots that are contacting, just right there and right there. So now, I wasn't too worried about anything happening, but I did have an oil line burst last year, actually almost around this time, which was one of the reasons why I had to have this line go all the way over to that side. I had to order a new line because it rubbed, I guess, up here more, and it started leaking all over the place. So this is just preventative maintenance for future, and I shouldn't have any problems. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this episode for the oil cooler. We made all the lines, we mounted the cooler, we cut the bumper so it'll fit. Now the next step is to go back to the splitter once I get some more parts in and finish up that, and then we'll just about be ready. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment for your oil cooler setups, and I'll see you next time. See ya!